In this video, I'll work through an example in our homework. It was in section 1.3 on income tax. You'll find this question ID, the 1.3.23, on your homework problem. It's not the 23rd problem, but it's the 23rd problem in the section. It's just that we aren't doing every one of those problems in the section, but each of the problems does have an ID for that homework. You can see that ID written when you see this screen. But this is the problem we're working on. The federal income tax schedule for a person filing a single return in 2018 is shown. Now these schedules change each year, but in 2018, here's what the schedule looked like. And what we want to do is find the income if someone paid $888 in taxes. So here's how you would read this type of a schedule. We're going to start by determining which of these rows we're going to use. So if the tax is $888, we can see that that's going to fall in this bracket because 10%, let me write this out so that you can understand how I got this. 10% of $9,525, that's 0.10 times 9,525. That would have been $952.50. So if the income was above 9,525, the income would have been higher than this $952. Do you follow that? That's how I knew to use this first row. So this 888 is going to fall into this row. And what we're going to do is say 10% of the income. Let me keep this color coded. So 10% of what income equals $888. So it's like 0.10x, if x is that income. 10% of x, 0.10 times x, is equal to 888. So 10% of what value is 888? What I can do now is divide both sides by 10 hundredths, or 1/10. And when I solve that, 888 divided by 1/10, I'm going to get $8,880. So part A would be $8,880. You know, we could do a double check. It's a great problem solving skill to go back step 4 and check that solution. So if I wanted to check this, I could see what is 10% of always means times. 10% of 8,880. That's 0.10 or 0.1 times 8,880. And really all we're doing is moving the decimal one place to the left. So that gives us the 888. So it looks like we're good. So the first part, if the income is $888, falls in this first row, and we find that that's 10% of $8,880. So there's our answer for part A. Part B is a little more complicated. Let me show you how you would do part B. If the income is the tax, not the income. The tax is $1,993.50, and we want to find the income. To start with, we're going to determine which of those rows we're going to use, right? So $1,993 in tax is going to be less than this $4,400 and more than the $952,000. So I'm going to use the second row. So this one's a little more complicated. Let me show you how I can determine that it's not the first row. How do I know it's not just 10%? Well, 10% of what number would give us $1,993.50. That would be $19,935. So we see that that 19,000 is higher than the $9,000. So I know that I'm going to need the second bracket. So the second row. That's how I know to move to that second row. So now that I know that I've got to fall into the second category, I'm going to pay a little bit more taxes than just 10%. 10% would have been $952. So I'll pay 10% on that first amount of my income. But then after that $9,525, I've got to pay 12%. So here's a couple ways to look at it. And I don't know, it's always hard for me to determine what's going to make the most sense for each student. But let me show you two different ways to see this. If I start with the tax of $1,993.50, and I subtract out, let me show you where I'm getting the part I'm subtracting out. If I subtract out the $952.50, then I'm left with $1,041. So we can see that this tax of $1,993.50 is broken up into two pieces. The first piece is that $952.50. That's the 10% of 9,525, right? And then, so for that amount, we've got for the $9,000 of income, we've got this $900 of tax. And then the second part of the tax, what's going to be left over, is $1,041. So now for this $1,041 in tax, where did that come from? It was 12% of the income. So I'm going to say 12% of what income, or 12% of X, gives us, or is equal to $1,041. So if I solve this as an equation, 0.12 times X is equal to 1041, dividing both sides by 12% gives me that X equals 8,675. 12% of $8,675 is $1,041. So that's our second amount of income. So the $952.50 gives us the tax amount of $952.50 came from an income, so that gives us an income of $9,525. And the second amount of tax, the $1041, comes from an income of $86.75. If I add the $9,525 to the $8,675, gives us a total income of $18,200, and that's the answer to this. Are you thoroughly confused on this? These tax brackets can really be tricky. Let me walk you through this one other way. And the reason I want to show you this one other way is that I think this next way really makes a lot more sense. And what's really important isn't that you can mimic the example that I'm doing here, but it's really what's important is that you understand the idea of this problem, and that given a problem like this in your real life, when you're really truly trying to calculate your taxes, that you want to be able to understand how to read this table. So here's another approach. If I took this $1,993.50 and I started with, okay, so if the tax amount was $1,993.50, if the tax amount was $1,993.50, 993.50, and I want to find the income amount. I'm going to break it down to first, this first bracket, 9,000, that for an income of $9,525, the tax amount would have been 10% of that, or the tax amount would have been $952.50. And then what's left over from that? Well, the $952.50 would have been left over $1,041 in taxes. So I'm paying 10% on the $9,525 amount, and then for this next amount of income, the percentage jumps up. So we're saying in America, what we're saying is that if your income is higher, you're paying a higher tax percent. Do you see why some politicians are in favor of doing away with this table and saying, let's have everyone just pay a flat tax, rather than saying different incomes pay different percentages of tax? Everyone pays the same amount, the same percentage of tax, right? Or even the same amount of tax. So really interestingly, this bracket where the higher your income, the higher the percent of tax. So certainly the higher your income, the higher your tax is going to be. But you see how it's divided up differently. At a lower income, a lower percentage of your income is going to taxes, where a higher income, a higher percentage of your income is going towards taxes. But anyhow, going back to the example here, if we have the $1,041 of taxes and we work backwards from that, we'd see that the income would have been $86.75. The income would have been $8,675. So for the tax amount, I'm going to start by subtracting out that $952.50, which would have come from 10% of an income. So working backwards, you can see that 10% divided into the tax amount gives us the income of $9,525. And then that leaves us $1,041 in taxes, which working backwards with the 12% gives us $8,675. And so when I add these two amounts up, I get the total income of $18,200. Well, I hope that that's helped you with this problem. It's not an easy concept. It's not an easy problem. Try it and then even hit that give me a similar problem on your homework example and practice it a few times until you feel really comfortable with it. But I hope that this video has helped you get a good grasp on how to approach this type of a word problem.